Ever felt like that traditional path to getting wealthy, the save, invest, wait forever one,
Hmm.
maybe isn't the only way?
Uh-huh. Like there must be something faster.
Exactly. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into a book that screams, yes, there is. MJ DeMarco's The Millionaire Fastlane. It's pretty influential.
Highly influential, yeah.
So our mission here is, well, pretty clear. We're going to break down his main ideas.
Look at the claims he makes.
Right, evaluate them, and really try to understand why this book hits such a nerve globally. We've looked at excerpts, reviews, success stories,
All the good stuff.
because he really does challenge those standard financial ideas, doesn't he? Making this bold case for, rapid wealth through building a business.
He really does. And the book's reach is massive. Over 1 million copies sold, 25 languages, updated versions dealing with crypto, inflation.
It definitely resonates.
And it's worth remembering, DeMarco isn't just some academic. He's an entrepreneur himself. Semi-retired now, but he built and sold businesses.
Like limos.com, right?
Exactly. So he brings this, real-world perspective. He's actually done it.
Okay, let's unpack this then. How does he actually categorize these different ways to think about wealth? He's got this core structure, right? 3 roadmaps.
That's the central idea, yeah.
Right.
3 totally distinct financial roadmaps.
Okay.
Each one's a different mindset, a different approach.
So what's the first one?
He starts with the sidewalk. And honestly, it's pretty stark. This is basically living paycheck to paycheck.
The majority, maybe.
He suggests, a huge chunk of people driven by, instant gratification, often racking up debt.
Got it.
And the stats he throws out are kind of staggering. Maybe 60% of adults live this way. And something like 57% under 55 have 0 or even negative net worth.
Wow. Negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the outcome he points to is, well, it's bleak. Poverty, basically.
Yeah.
Financial instability.
Okay, so that's the sidewalk. Then what's the next lane?
That's the slow lane. And this is the one most of us probably know.
The traditional advice. Get a good job.
Save 10, maybe 20%, invest in the stock market, hope for the best.
And retire in, 40, 50 years?
Exactly. That's the accepted wisdom for so many people.
But DeMarco isn't a fan, is he?
Not at all. This is where he gets really fiery. He calls it a, quote, dream-stealing, soul-sucking dogma.
Ouch. Strong words.
Very. He argues it just relies too much on things you can't control, like the stock market and just waiting.
Yeah.
Trading your life away.
Your best years, essentially.
Right. For a future that's not even guaranteed. What's fascinating is how hard he pushes against this conventional thinking. He says the outcome is just mediocrity and wealth that shows up way too late to enjoy properly.
He's definitely not holding back. So that leads us to his preferred path, the fast lane.
The fast lane, yeah.
Yeah.
And this isn't about jobs or slow savings. It's all entrepreneurship.
Building businesses.
Specifically, businesses that are scalable and generate passive income. The idea is you can build serious wealth in, say, 5 to 10 years, not 40 or 50.
Leading to real financial freedom.
Independence.
Yeah.
And a rich lifestyle, not just scraping by in retirement.
Okay, so that's the core framework. Sidewalk, slow lane, fast lane.
Exactly. And building on that fast lane idea, DeMarco also kind of redefines wealth itself.
How so? It's not just about the money.
Right. For him, money's a part of it, sure, but
Mhm.
real wealth includes family, relationships, fitness, health, and critically, freedom.
Freedom from the grind.
Freedom to live how you want without money, worries dictating everything. It's a much broader picture than just your bank balance.
That makes sense. And he has this concept, the law of affection. How does that fit in?
Yeah, the law of affection. That's fundamental to the fast lane. The core idea is simple. You create wealth by affecting lots of people.
Impacting lives, basically.
Exactly. Either through scale, reaching many people, or magnitude impacting fewer people, but in a much bigger way.
He gives examples, doesn't he?
He does. Really clear ones. Like scale, sell 800,000 books at $7 each. Boom. $5.6 million.
Affecting many, a little bit each.
Right, or magnitude.
Yeah.
Develop, say, 14 office buildings, making $400,000 profit on each. Same result, $5.6 million.
Affecting fewer, but much more significantly.
Precisely. It's about the total impact you create.
Okay, so how do you figure out if a business idea fits this fast lane model?
Well, that's where his sense framework comes in. It's crucial. It's like a filter for your business ideas.
Scenes. An acronym.
Yep, CENTS. And it's brilliant because it forces you to think beyond just, can I sell this? It makes you ask, can this become something powerful and sustainable?
Okay, let's break it down. C is for.
Control. You need full control over your business decisions, no partners pulling you down, no franchise rules limiting you. You're in the driver's seat.
Makes sense. E?
Entry. Are the barriers to entry high or low? DeMarco argues for higher barriers. If anyone can start the same business tomorrow with $50, it's going to be hard to sustain profits.
Less competition.
Exactly.
N.
N must be need. You got it. Need. Does your business solve a real problem or fulfill a genuine market need? He hammers this point home, says something like 90% of new businesses fail within 5 years because they don't focus on need, they focus on their own passion instead of the market's pain.
That's a huge failure rate. Okay, T.
Time. This is key for passive income. Can you disconnect your income from your personal time? Can you automate? Can you delegate? Can the business run and grow without you being there every single minute?
The dream, right? Making money while you sleep.
That's the Fastlane goal. And finally, S.
Scale, like the law of affection.
Exactly. Scale. Can the business grow significantly? Can you reach more customers easily? Think local versus global, physical store versus online platform.
So sense control, entry, need, time, scale. It's really a filter to avoid businesses that just keep you busy but don't build real wealth.
Precisely. It helps you identify potential money trees, as he calls them.
Money trees.
Yeah, businesses that can grow and produce income passively rather than you just trading your time for dollars in a Job-Tova round.
So it's this fundamental shift he's pushing for. Stop being just a consumer. Become a producer. Create value. Create those money trees.
That's the core message. Yeah. Build systems that generate wealth.
Here's where it gets really interesting. This book clearly connected with a lot of people. The praise is pretty widespread, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. People rave about the motivation it gives them, the fresh perspective.
And the style. Seems like people appreciate how direct he is.
Yeah, that candid, no BS style. It feels like a stark contrast to, some other financial gurus who might sugarcoat things or sell complex systems.
Yeah, we saw some reviews that really highlighted that.
We did. Like that one Amazon reviewer saying, MJ DeMarco does an extremely good job of telling the truth about what it takes. He felt it wasn't just another get-rich-easy thing.
Right. And another one comparing it to Rich Dad, Dave Ramsey, saying, finally, someone who tells it like it is and isn't feeding me BS. That kind of raw honesty seems to be a big draw.
Absolutely. It cuts through the noise for a lot of readers.
And then there were the success stories. Those are powerful.
They really are. You mentioned Matt Karamazov.
Yeah, the security guard making $9 an hour. Reads the book, starts a business, buys a Porsche within 3 years. That's a dramatic turnaround.
Incredible. Or Tony Dirth from Florida, $8.50 an hour at 18, hitting 7-figure profits by 21.
Wow. And even established people like Ali Abdaal give it top marks. He called it a top recommendation for financial freedom on Goodreads.
5 stars. It's hard to ignore that kind of impact and those kinds of results.
But like any influential work, it's not all sunshine and roses, is it? There are criticisms.
For sure. No book pleases everyone, especially one this provocative. This raises an important question. What are the counterpoints? What are people pushing back against?
Well, probably the most frequent one we saw circles back to that direct style of the tone. Some people find it abrasive, maybe even elitist.
Yeah, that definitely comes up. His dismissal of the Slowlane can feel harsh if that's the path you're on or believe in.
We saw that Goodreads review from Nina, right, 2 stars, said she stopped reading because the author's attitude felt elitist.
And Toby, another 2-star review, called it cringy, generic self-help. Felt the metaphors were repetitive, and the criticism of other paths was just over the top.
So the directness cuts both ways. Some love it, some hate it.
Exactly. And another angle of criticism is about the substance, or maybe the perceived lack of it.
Like it's motivational, but maybe not practical enough.
Sort of. Some argue it doesn't offer enough specific, actionable, step-by-step advice. Yeah. Like that Reddit user, Rick Agelo, who found it kind of bland after the first few chapters.
More why than how.
Perhaps. The feeling from some corners is that it's a great general business and motivation book, but not necessarily a detailed roadmap to actually making the money.
And didn't someone on Reddit, Pale Impact 3888, even suggest DeMarco mostly profits from selling the idea of the Fastlane through the book itself?
Yeah, that criticism exists, questioning if the primary business is the book, which can make some people skeptical about how practical the advice is beyond just inspiration.
It's a cynical take, maybe, but you can see why someone might think that.
Then there was that more balanced review from Jay Tomlinson on Medium. He liked the motivation.
Praised the practical business sense in it, too.
Yeah, but he also pointed out, it doesn't hand you $1 million business plan on a plate.
And he actually proposed his own alternative, didn't he? The center lane?
He did, which is
Yeah.
interesting. His idea was basically get a high-paying job, but then save aggressively, like 60–70% of your income.
Wow, that's aggressive saving.
Extremely. But his point was you could potentially reach financial independence in maybe 10 years that way. Still fast, but different from pure entrepreneurship.
So suggesting the fast lane isn't the only way to get there quickly.
Exactly. It adds another layer to the discussion.
You know, people often compare The Millionaire Fastlane to other big books in this space. Rich Dad, Poor Dad comes up a lot, the 4-hour work week.
Yeah, they definitely get lumped together, and opinions vary wildly.
Some find DeMarco more practical, less anecdotal than, say, Rich Dad. We saw comments like that.
Uh-huh. But others prefer the tone or the structure of the alternatives, finding DeMarco too harsh, like Toby mentioned.
And DeMarco has a follow-up book, too, Unscripted.
Right. Which dives deeper, but again, some Reddit comments suggested it felt a bit repetitive or maybe pushed the sale a little too hard for their liking.
So lots of different takes there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which leads to the question, who is this book really for?
Good question. Who should pick it up?
Well, based on everything, it seems best suited for aspiring entrepreneurs. People who are genuinely open to rethinking those traditional ideas about jobs and saving.
People willing to embrace that producer mindset he talks about.
Exactly. And maybe especially those who are newer to the whole entrepreneurship world. It provides that foundational mindset shift.
Okay, so who might not like it or find it less useful?
Probably someone looking for a very detailed step-by-step guide, like week 1, do this, week 2, do that. It's not that kind of
More
book.
strategy than tactics.
Yeah. And also, if you're sensitive to that very direct, maybe even confrontational style, it might rub you the wrong way.
Good point. He doesn't really soften the message.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But hey, it's easy to find if you are curious. Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
And you mentioned a free version online, too.
Yeah, apparently there's one on the Internet Archive. So you can check it out pretty easily.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean?
Well, The Millionaire Fastlane clearly offers a bold, a really thought-provoking challenge to how most people think about money and wealth.
Pushing entrepreneurship hard as the route to rapid wealth, and importantly, that freedom aspect.
Right. It's more of a call to arms, a mindset shift, than a specific blueprint, maybe?
It definitely has its strength. That motivational kick, the real-world stories, the sense framework is genuinely useful for evaluating ideas.
Absolutely. But you have to acknowledge the weaknesses, too. The style isn't for everyone, and some feel it lacks that deep, specific how-to guidance.
Still, connecting it to the bigger picture, it feels like a pretty significant book in the financial independence space, especially for would-be entrepreneurs.
Agreed. It forces you to question the status quo, which is valuable in itself.
So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. Considering these different roadmaps, Sidewalk, Slowlane, Fastlane, even that center lane idea, and weighing the inspiration against the criticisms, which approach truly clicks with you? What are your own goals for wealth, for freedom? What kind of path makes sense for you to start walking?